Today, we're going to dive into a really simple story that honestly has a surprisingly powerful message. It's called The Dreamer and the Spilled Milk.
But hey, before we really get into it, let me ask you something. What's the one thing you feel is standing between you and your biggest dreams? Just keep that in the back of your mind, okay? Because it's right at the heart of this whole thing.
All right, let's get started. Our story kicks off with a character I think we can all kind of relate to, a young man with a really, really big dream. And here he is. Let's meet Theo, the guy at the center of our story.
So what's Theo's deal? Well, this right here is the heart of his problem. The story calls him a dreamer. You know, he's the kind of person who can paint this incredibly vivid picture of a rich, amazing future, but he has this one massive blind spot. He just refuses to do the actual work to get there.
And this is basically his whole struggle in one shot. Over on one side, you've got his dreams. They're epic, they're limitless. But then you look at the other side, his actions, and, well, it's a big fat zero. It's this huge gap between his vision and his effort that really kicks our whole story into gear. So what happens when you've got these gigantic dreams, but you're putting in zero effort? Well, you get really, really good at building a fantasy. Let's take a look at the world Theo builds inside his own head. And you're not going to believe this, but the entire empire he imagines, all the money, the fame, the whole shebang, it all starts from something so simple, just a single pot of milk. And from that one little pot, his imagination just takes off. I mean, he's not just sitting there with some milk. He's mapping out his entire destiny. Step one, he's going to turn that milk into cheese. Okay, simple enough. Then he'll sell the cheese to buy some hens. Those hens lay more eggs, the flock gets bigger, and before he knows it, boom, he's the proud owner of a grand farm. And this is a really important detail. His dream isn't just about owning a farm. No way. It's a total life transformation. He's not just thinking about being rich. He's fantasizing about the fame, the respect, the perfect family to go along with it. It's the full package. And this right here, this is the absolute peak of his daydream. He imagines having a son, and he thinks to himself, I'm going to teach my boy the value of hard work, completely missing the hilarious irony that he himself is doing absolutely none of it. But, as we all know, daydreams have a nasty habit of bumping into the real world, and that brings us to the big turning point of the story. So he's completely lost in this amazing fantasy he's built, when reality decides to show up. Suddenly. And, well, not in a good way. And there it is. The whole thing, the cheese, the hens, the farm, the family, all of it, was balanced on that one single pot of milk. And in one careless moment, it's all gone, spilled all over the ground. The contrast is just brutal. On one side, you have this beautiful, complicated fantasy that he poured all his mental energy into. And on the other side, the cold, hard reality, nothing more than a puddle of milk on the floor. Everything he ever dreamed of, just gone. So after watching Theo's world come crashing down, what are we supposed to take away from this? Well, it brings us to the entire point of the story, the huge difference between just wishing for something and actually doing something. You know, the story's main message is really summed up perfectly right here. Dreaming is so important, right? It's where it all begins. But without that one thing Theo is missing, action, a dream just stays, well, a dream. So if dreaming isn't enough, what does it actually take? The story is pretty clear that it boils down to these things. It's the hard work of actually doing the thing. It's the discipline to keep at it, even when it's not exciting anymore. And maybe most important of all, it's the courage to take that first step, to finally turn the dream into an action. And here it is, the big lesson in a nutshell. Success isn't this thing that just magically finds you while you're daydreaming. It's something you have to chase. It goes to the people who are actually putting in the work, not just the ones staring up at the mountain and wishing they were at the top. And that pretty much brings us to the end. It's a simple little story, but man, it leaves us with a heavy question. We all have that pot of milk, right? That idea, that goal, that little seed of a dream. It's in our hands right now. So the real question is, what are we going to do with it? Are we going to hold on tight and start working, or are we just going to daydream until it slips right through our fingers?